This is the Swagger Tackle Flanders head, Ned Flanders, with the missile bait on it. Look at that beautiful little spotted bass. Thank you, darling. Send her back. So my goal out here, and I know it's a little windy and kind of pushing back up and through here a little bit, but hold on, we'll talk real quick. So my goal in here was to come back and through here and only fish Ned bait. The past couple days I've been coming out, ain't caught a bite, using spinner bait, using a jig and everything else, and people keep ranting and raving about Ned rigs. Ned rig, Ned rig, Ned rig, Ned rig. I said fine, I ain't had a Ned rig bite. That was my first one, little spotted bass. About £1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. Absolutely gorgeous, I love it, but I'm gonna keep going with this today and we'll see what else we can find. Hungry. I noticed when I did the recap at the end of the video that there was way too much wind and you couldn't understand anything that I was saying, and I didn't notice that until I got back to the house. So I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the few baits that I have to use and some of the styles and what I learned out there. So the first thing about what I learned out there at the Ned rig is the fact that it is a bottom contact slow bait, and while using something like what I used with the missile bait, the longer you let it sit there, the better it is, because with these baits there's a little tail that sits on top of that. So when you have a little tail up there sitting right up on top, this thing is going to move and flow and do everything it can in the water, which is great because you really don't have to do much to it. It'll do it itself. It's hard for me to finesse fish personally. I really like power fishing. Chuck and wind. So it's sitting there holding something, keep tension on it, pop every now and again, let it sit. It's a little hard for me, but I'll get used to it. And of course you have, within baits, you have the traditional, this is just the Zoom, the Beatdown. It's just a standard 3-inch, almost like a Senko worm, meant for a Ned rig bait. Standard, this is the watermelon red flake. It is really has a ton of salt in it, pretty heavy, a good amount of action to it. It's pretty much just half of a Senko or 3/4 of a Senko ready for a Ned rig, which is great in itself because everybody knows how well Senkos work. And that's a Zoom. You also have the Yamamoto, which is it's the same thing, 3-inch, pretty much a miniature Senko, a little bit smaller, great to use. I'm excited about using these for a Ned rig and see what else I can find. And of course you have the missile baits. Ned Bomb is what it's called. This is the watermelon, I call it a watermelon red core shot. This is watermelon red core, and this is a blue flake to it called Bluetonium Green Pumpkin. This is really great bait as well. These two, what I was most excited about trying, and I really want to get a bite on it. And then, of course, other than your standard worm style, you have other baits, kind of like a little small creature bait. This is the Rage Tail Raged Ned Bug and Grn Pumpkin Bk Flk. This also has red flake in it. Hold on. This is just watermelon red flake. There's red flake and black flakes, and then I think this is just standard green pumpkin, I believe is what this is. This is Savage Gear. This is a really interesting bait that I want to use. 3-inch. This is kind of like your salamander style bait. One good thing about the Savage Gear is how durable it is, because when you take it, you can already see it. It is incredibly stretchy, durable. Like, I can't even get that thing to hold up. So when you Ned rig that, this bulbous tail is going to sit up in the air. It has little legs that hold out. It has a great head profile of a salamander head that will sit on there. So this will work really great as well. I'm very excited to try this out. As you can tell, I got one missing because my kid wanted one. So of course I'm just going to say, you know, yeah, you can have it. I don't even know where she put it, but it's out there. And so those are the baits that I'm really going to stick with and really going to try out and tell you exactly what I think. Most of everything I'm going to have is either going to be green pumpkin, watermelon red flake, and then that green pumpkin and blue. Keep it very simple, very easy, all natural colors. Might even get something that's more of a bait fish style. And what I'm using out there is that Swagger Tackle Flanders head. Of course, you know, Ned Flanders always makes me laugh. This thing has super sharp hooks, has a great keeper that is detached from it. But I mean, this thing is amazing. I love the fact that everything's labeled on there. I hope you can see that's 10th ounce, 90-degree wire tie. This thing sits beautifully. I want to sit this on. I mean, this thing sits beautifully upright the entire time down there. So that's great. I use the green pumpkin and black. Also got black sitting here inside of my little, if I can get it out. Green pumpkin and black. Just really depends upon what I want to throw on there. And what I noticed digging through my stuff is I did have, I believe this is a 2/0 hook, a weedless Ned Rig. This is the grape color. I believe this is from monsterbass. 1/8 ounce is what this is, and grape. Kind of excited to try that now. Of course, you know, let's go ahead and get this Bluetonium, and I'll show you how this works. Pretty much works as any type of standard Texas rig. And so, get your green pumpkin, blue flake, and I like to rig it with the tail. So we're gonna rig it with the tail on the side, and it's easy to see because they have, you know, line marks from where they're poured. So we're going to pour that in, pull that inside of there, and we're immediately going to come out just like a Texas rig. We're going to come out a little bit higher than that. Right there, spin it around, put it right on top. See? And as you can see, that hook's already ready to be hid right there. And so you can either text pose it, or you can bury it inside of there. It doesn't really matter. I like to text pose it. I have just more confidence in it. It honestly doesn't matter. So you line it up where you want it. Put it inside there. Come out, text pose it, and boom. And that'll help you get straight through all that debris. Stands right up, just as easy as it can be. I don't think I can let my hand go with it because it's not in water. 90-degree line tie. That thing is definitely going to be my next choice for going out there and hitting to it. I'm going to link all this stuff down in the description below. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I sure do appreciate it. Everything you see, I'm not sponsored. I don't want to be sponsored. I want to get and find everything I can to bring to y'all. So I don't want to get sponsored and have to push that brand. That's not what I want. I want to be able to bring baits that I have confidence in, baits that I use, colors that I believe in for you to be able to go out there and to catch more fish. I believe that the way that this tail will just fold and move with the current really gets their attention, especially when you're trying to get there to sit and be still. So that's an awesome choice right there. And so always remember, be safe, have fun, catch a big one for me.